I never thought about white schools and black schools. I did not even know where the black schools were. But there was a family of African Americans that lived right next door to the school property line. And they were friends. I knew they must go to school somewhere, but I didn't know where.
Driving to and from and seeing the little black children who were being walked to school, probably their choice, but with their teacher. And she didn't walk them all, but apparently they lived close to her, so they would walk to school.
I only had two teachers. Miss Christine Smith was a 7th grade teacher. She was principal. And phys ed had Berta Brown. Later on, she married a Kent.
Miss Christine was the principal, and I lived in great fear that I was going to do something that would displease her. I remember getting up all of my nerve one day, and I asked her, I was in the 7th grade, well, so she must have been at the school in the 7th grade, if it would be okay if I wore a little lipstick to school. Ooh. No makeup, no lipstick. So, things were kind of different then.
Later, when she took the 7th grade class over to the high school to enroll us in classes in the high school, she became the guidance counselor. And when we sat down with the person at the high school, she said, give her classes to go to Sweetbriar.
What did you like best about Monroe School?
Well, it was my window to the world. I was an only child, so when I saw all those children, when I saw a lot of children, it was different.
So now you're back at Monroe. You've gotten your job back at Monroe. What were you teaching at the Monroe School?
5th grade. And I fell in love with 5th grade. Some people said they didn't like 5th grade, but they weren't quite to that age that they knew it all, or they thought they knew it all. And I don't know, I just loved that age.
So what subjects were you teaching in the 5th grade classroom? And you did this for a long time, right?
We had the English, the sciences, the history, geography, math, but you get all levels of children in those. In those days, we did not have any special ed. Upper 30s was usually the norm for us. They expected you to be able to teach that many. The teachers at that time, Miss Christine, Miss Campbell, Miss Martin, all of those teachers were trained at a Virginia State Teachers College, and they got a 2-year degree, and they were ingrained in the curriculum that had to be taught in the public schools.
Did your son go to the Monroe School?
All 3 of them did.
And how did that work out for your children?
If they got punished at school, they got punished when they got home. Students would say, the oldest boy, he was brought to the office one day with a group, and they said, this will be a pilot for you. You'll get off easy. And he said, get off easy? He said, I'm going to get it twice. He said, I'm going to get it when I get home, too. I wish I could have had smaller classrooms and maybe could have understood a little bit more so far as the learning capabilities of students. I think it would have helped us, helped me deal with problems. Sometime I'd have to have a student who would pull his little desk up beside mine where I could almost touch him. Tests would be given. In those days we didn't have a Xerox copying machine, so we had to write it on the blackboard, and I would pull him up beside my desk, and he liked it. That's where he wanted to be. And I could interpret the test question to him, not trying to show favoritism, but he couldn't understand what was written on the blackboard. But if I could have a way of explaining it to him and pulling it out of him, he knew the answer, but he couldn't interpret that question on his own. And so you in that way you try to help your students.